Good evening everyone, and welcome to This Week in Review. This week we spoke to Bill Bowles, a inshore fisherman of Clarenville Ocean Products, concerning the fish landings this year. We also spoke to an employee of Clarenville Ocean Products, Roger Hann. We have this to show you. We're speaking to Bill Bowles, fisherman here at Clarenville Ocean Products. Bill, how are you landing fish this year compared to last year?
Well, landings are way down compared to January last year. Last year, January started off fairly good, and then the fish tapered off to nothing, but this year she's starting off with nothing.
I see. So, does the fisherman use any more gear this year to try and catch more fish?
No, they're not. I mean, they're using as much as they can handle anyway. Even last year they're using a fair amount of gear, and they're only doing but the same thing this year, because they can only handle so much.
I see. And what's the price of fish now? Is it same as last year, or are you getting?
Well, last year we were getting 31 cents a pound for it just in January, and this year we're getting 34.
I see. I understand that you send your fish out by coastal boat. You used to do it by trucks. Is this going to stay the same, or are you?
Well, what they do, they use the coastal boats in the wintertime because it's more convenient for the companies, and they use a truck in the summertime because they can truck the fish into plants that they now have closed down. So right now they got the Hermitage, and that's where most of our fish are going to now, being shipped by a coastal boat down to Hermitage.
I see. Did you go out fishing today, Bill?
Yeah, I was out there.
Did you get much fish today?
No, we never had nothing. We had 14 tubs out. We never had 300 pounds.
I see. It's not so good.
It's absolutely nothing. I mean, you can't even. There's no sense taking no boat even away from the wharf at that rate. You never do nothing with it.
I see. Okay, thanks, Bill, for talking to us today.
You're welcome.
We're speaking to Roger Hann now. Roger, what do you do down here at Clarenville Ocean Products?
I'm the forklift operator, and takes the fish out of the boats and gives the boys in, dump the fish and hoist it off, and put it on the truck or put it on the boat, whatever. Sometimes, well, this time of year now is going on a freight boat, and later on summer now we'll be going on truck all the time, and roll gets better.
I see. Roger, I understand that there's a shortage of fish now. Do you get much work down here?
Yeah, we're getting a bit, but not like it has been other years that we've been working almost all from 9 in the morning until sometimes 10, 11 in the night. But now we don't, every evening about 4 o'clock we're usually finished. Boats used always go at night time, but they don't bother that no more now, because not the point that they don't bother, it's just that there's enough matter for them to get. Don't give them much encouragement to go out.
How many boats are going out now?
Oh, I suppose we got 18 or 20, I guess, altogether. Some of them will go out sometimes, and they don't get much, and we'll have to wait for other fellas to go out and see what they get on before he goes anymore. It's not really worth being it.
Yeah. How many more fellows are employed here, Roger, besides yourself?
Well, there's me and Les, and there's Robert and Brad. Usually there's just the 3 of us there.
I see, and you're doing all the fish that comes in from the 18 or 20 boats that comes in.
Oh, yes.
If you've been watching the messages on Channel 10 this week, you may have noticed that the iSchool are offering some new courses for their night school program. I spoke to Mr. Marsden, principal of St. John Central High School, to find out more about the courses. We have this to show you. We are speaking to Mr. Marsden, principal at St. John Central High School, concerning the courses that will be offered here in the winter semester. Mr. Marsden, the courses are from Western Community College. How did you get them here in our school?
Well, I suppose the easiest way to explain it, Gail, is really night school. Okay, and night school has been going on here for about, the past 15 years, I would say. Now, most people associate night school with just adult basic education, okay? And that has been going on, as I say, since about 75. But there are also other courses that they offer at the community college, and these are called continuing courses. And they are really meant for anyone in the community. There is certain requirements, like you'd be 16 or 17 years old, small requirements like that. But continuing education courses are those courses which are meant for people who would like to learn a certain craft or as an hobby, whatever the case might be.
Are they also offered at Western Community Colleges?
Yes, they are. They're offered in Stephenville, say, or Stephenville Crossing. That's the western part of the island, because the whole island, Newfoundland and Labrador, is divided up into 5 different regions. And all the vocational schools are affiliated with a certain region. But these courses would be offered in Stephenville Crossing, during the daytime and also in the evenings.
I see. Would it be the same as going to Western Community College and getting the courses as it is to come here and do them?
Same thing, except that at the college they might have probably more facilities. They would probably have more courses to offer. But any student who would enroll here in a course, or anywhere courses are offered, for example, they're also offered in Ramya this year, would get the same kind of instruction that they would get at the college. That's through adult basic education courses or the continuing education courses.
I see. Are there tuition fees involved?
There are tuition fees involved for some courses. We just mentioned the adult basic education courses, which covers really 4 levels. For the first 2 levels, which would bring you up to about grade 9, there's no fee involved, except you pay $1 insurance, which would take you right through the a 21-hour course or a 81-hour course. For other levels, like level 3 and 4, adult basic education, which would be equivalent to a grade 12, that's the level 4 would be equivalent to grade 12, you would have to do 36 credits. And for each of these credits, it would cost you $8. But that would give you a grade 12. On the continuing education courses, for example, let's just refer here to a certain course, like computers. We offered a course in computers last fall. And that was a 27-hour course, and that cost $49. That's just one example. Christmas crafts, we offered that last fall. It's a 21-hour course, and the fee there was $38.
I see. Do you have to buy books for this as well?
For the adult basic education courses, we usually photocopy the material that we're going to teach. Or we can use some of the textbooks that are here in the school, but generally no. We have enough textbooks here. The instructors add the material, and they usually go with that. Any books that are around, we usually use as reference books. For some of the other courses, continuing education courses, there might be a textbook. For example, in a typing course, there would probably be a textbook. But generally, and for the most part, there are no textbooks for most of the courses.
How long do the courses take usually?
Well, as I say, a course like in Christmas crafts was 21 hours. Now, what would usually happen there is that between the instructor and the students, they would work out a suitable night to, offer the course. And if they offer that for 2 hours a week, well, that would take, 10 weeks.
Yeah. Do you have any instructors picked out for this, or have you have instructors from out of town?
No. Usually, in getting instructors, I say to students who are interested. If there is a group of students out there who are interested in a particular course, be it computers, be it woodworking, be it fly tying or macrame or aerobics or whatever the case might be, if we have a group of, well, we need 12 for those continuing education courses, we would offer the course. And anyone who's got some qualification in it, you know, it doesn't have to be a teacher. It can be anyone in the community who's got knowledge of a particular course and would like to teach it and or instruct in it, you know, would be eligible.
Do you have anyone picked out?
For some courses, yes, like we have offering the computer course. Mr. Max Pink did that last year. The woodworking course, if we offer it this winter, Mr. Benight has agreed to teach that course. And of course, these people are into those particular areas.
Maybe you could tell us a little about one of the courses.
Okay, as an example, there's a course in fly tying, which might be a popular course here in Burgeo. That's a 27-hour course, and the fee is $49. Now, in this particular course, a student would learn to make their own flies for trout and salmon fishing. If there were someone out there, had the equipment, would like to teach the course, and if there were a group of 12 students, 12 people who would be interested in learning, we could offer that course. And I just might mention that an instructor fee or a salary, instructor's salary for a course in continuing education would be $15 an hour.
I see. Can students do them courses as well?
Students can, but there are some restrictions. For example, children under 16 years of age will not be permitted to do part-time courses, but there is an exception there that would say a maximum of 2 students per course under age 16 may be permitted to register, but adults would be given preference in those courses. But if we needed enough people to fill up a course, we could allow a maximum of 2 who were under 16 to do the course.
I see. So you can pick the applications up here at the high school, is it?
Yes, anyone that's interested can just simply give me a call and pick up an application, fill it out. It's very simple, and if we get enough people who are interested in any of the courses that are advertised on TV, we have the right number, we'd offer the course.
Very good. Is there any comment you would like to make, Mr. Marsden?
No, nothing other than probably what we've said, except that we offered adult basic education courses the fall, and we offered courses in crafts and computers, and depending on general interest in the community, any group who would be interested in a particular course, maybe something they thought of themselves they would like to know more about, and if they were to present it and we had an instructor, we could certainly offer that.
See, well, that would be great. Okay, thank you, Mr. Marsden, for speaking with us today.
Thank you, Gail.
Thursday was a very mild day here, but it was not a day the people enjoyed. The weather conditions were raining all day, and we had a little over 2 inches of rain. We went out and took some pictures. We have this to show you. Corporal White came in to do the court report, and he has a few rules and regulations for you concerning skidoos and ATVs. We have this for you.
Good evening. This report is prepared for Sunday, January the 21st, 1989. The court report will follow, but first I'd like to take a minute to speak about snowmobiles. Snowmobiles are wonderful toys when used properly. However, when not used properly, they become very dangerous vehicles. As you will hear later in the court report, 3 people were fined $100 each for riding on the roadway within Burgeo and its environments. On the next court date, there will be an appearance in court by a person who failed the breathalyzer while operating a snowmobile on the roadway. Snowmobiles are getting out of hand in Burgeo. They are moving too fast on the pond, and not only the pond within the town limits, but all the ponds around the town. Is going to get injured or worse still killed. I have also had reports from residents living near the highway diner that snowmobiles are continuously operating on Reach Place. That's the road up behind the restaurant, and people are concerned in that area and in front of the highway diner about they're concerned about their younger toddlers possibly being struck by snowmobiles. In view of what I've just said, I have found myself and the other members at this detachment to be in a position of getting tough with the enforcement of the All-Terrain and Snowmobiles Act. I will briefly outline some of the regulations that most people are obviously not familiar with, and following this report, we will be very strictly enforcing the regulations. It's unfortunate that it has come to this because there are a lot of people on snowmobiles who operate them with very much due care and attention. But it's as a result of the people who are breaking the law and who are operating them in a reckless manner that I have found myself in a position now to enforce very strictly the guidelines of this particular statute. I might point out that these regulations carry a maximum fine of up to $200 or 3 months in jail. And that's for the first offense. For a second or subsequent offense, there's a fine of $500 or 6 months in jail. Now, some of the offenses that I might think you are unfamiliar with, I'll briefly outline here. Now, you can sit on a snowmobile or on an all-terrain vehicle and cross the highway under a number of circumstances. And they are if you have 100 yards visibility in both directions, if you have a valid driver's license, and if you're under the age of 19 years, if there is a valid insurance policy on that vehicle. I'll repeat that again. You may cross the highway on a snowmobile or on an all-terrain vehicle, a 3- or 4-wheel bike, when you have 100 yards visibility in both directions. If you have a valid driver's license, motor vehicle driver's license, and if you're under 19 years of age, you have to have an insurance policy in force on that snowmobile. Another regulation states that a person under 13 years of age shall not drive a vehicle unless accompanied by a person 19 years or older. Again, a person under 13 years of age shall not drive a vehicle unless accompanied by a person 19 years of age or over. And a person under 16 years of age, but over 13 years of age, shall not drive unless accompanied by a person of 16 years of age or older. I'll repeat that one again. A person under 16 years of age and over 13 years of age shall not drive a vehicle unless accompanied by a person who is 16 years of age or older. Now, in future, as I previously stated, we will be enforcing these regulations, and this is for the benefit of all concerned to prevent injury or death. I also want for you to remember that these are not all the regulations. These are just a very few of the regulations, but they are the ones with which I'm being questioned the most. You can check with our office if you wish, if you need more information. Also, I'll leave a copy of some of the regulations at the BBS office, and I ask that you drop in and have a look at the regulations if we're not in our office at the BBS. They would appreciate it if you come in and visit rather than telephone the office. Also, I'd like for you to remember safety first. This is all in the interest of safety and protecting lives and preventing injury. And if you find it difficult remembering the regulations, it may cost you $200. And now the court report. Judge Roach appeared in provincial court in Burgeo on the 9th of January, 1990. Frank Krant, Perry Janes, Donald Benoit appeared in court, charged with break, enter, and theft into the Burgeo Community Center. Frank Krant was placed on probation for 1 year, and he is to serve 30 days in Her Majesty's Penitentiary. Perry Janes was placed on probation for 18 months following his release of 3 months in Her Majesty's Penitentiary. And Donald Benoit was given a suspended sentence, 1 year's probation, $63 restitution to be paid to the provincial court, and he has to do 50 hours community service work. All 3 persons are barred from the Burgeo Community Center. Daniel Ricketts appeared on a charge of failing the breathalyzer. He is convicted and placed on probation, or prohibited from driving a motor vehicle, rather, for 6 months. He was fined $900 and default 45 days in Her Majesty's Penitentiary. Ira Carroll appeared before the judge on a charge of fraud, as it deals with defrauding the social services of an amount of money. That case was postponed to the next court date. Barnabas Dallimont failed to appear on a charge of refusing the alert test, which is the roadside tester. A warrant was issued for his arrest. That case will proceed in April. Derek Dominy appeared on 2 charges of assault, one of which was withdrawn. He was convicted and fined $500 in default 30 days. He has 6 months to pay the fine. He was placed on probation for 1 year and has to provide 60 hours community service work, 20 hours per month, and he is ordered to stay away 10 meters away from the residence of Max Compton. And he also has to pay $50 victim surcharge to the court in default of payment, 5 days in jail. Gary Benoit appeared on 2 charges, one of mischief and another of breach of probation. Those cases have been postponed to the 2nd of April at 3 p.m. Darrell Hare was convicted of operating a snowmobile on the highway, and he was fined $100. In default of payment, he's to serve 30 days in Her Majesty's Penitentiary. Young offender was convicted for a theft of money from the Burgeo High School. The case was set over for sentencing to the 2nd of April. A second male young offender was charged with possession of stolen property as well. This deals with the theft of money from the Burgeo High School. He was convicted, and that's been set over as well to the 2nd of April for a sentencing hearing. A male young offender was convicted of operating a snowmobile on the highway. He was fined $100, has 3 months to pay the fine. A second male young offender was convicted of operating a snowmobile on the highway. He was fined $100. Philip Arrett appeared before the judge, charged with trespassing by night. That case was set over to the 2nd of April at 7 p.m. Brad Young appeared on 2 charges, one of assault and another for a breach of probation. Both those matters have been set over to the 2nd of April at 7 p.m. for trial. There was a trial concerning Terry Anderson, who was charged with assault in relation to a teenage dance at the lodge in Burgeo. He was convicted. He was fined $100, in default 10 days in jail. He was placed on probation for 1 year. He has to do 40 hours community service work, and he was also sentenced to 30 days in Her Majesty's Penitentiary for fighting at the teenage dance. Case of Eric McDonald, charged with assault, was postponed to the 3rd of April at 9:30 a.m. for trial. A young offender from Ramia was convicted of break, enter, and theft. He was given 1 year's probation, and he has to perform 50 hours community service work at Ramia. 2 other young offenders from Ramia were charged with 3 counts of break, enter, and theft in 2 dwelling houses. They were found guilty of the break-ins, and that their sentencing hearing has been postponed to the 2nd of April for the facts of the case and sentencing. This concludes the court report. Thank you for listening.
On January 19th at 7:55 p.m., Burgeo had a power outage. The power was flicking on and off for several hours. I called Mr. Parsons and he told me that the problem was in Beggs Brook, but it took several hours to find out where the problem was. It was approximately 7 to 7.5 hours.
Now we will go to Jill with the junior high school report.
Thank you, Gail. Good evening, and welcome to this JCH Junior High News this week. On Thursday after school, there was a drama club meeting for the cast only. They practiced and practiced until they got it right. Sometime in April, they will perform this musical in the high school gym. And then they will be going to Port Bass to perform this beautiful musical. Not much else has been happening in our school this week. Exams will soon be starting. Junior high exams will start February 2nd, 1990. I'd like to wish them the best of luck. Thank you. And now over to Michelle.
Thank you, Jill. Good evening, and welcome to SJCH Senior High News this week. Our school was hit with a very bad flu last week. There were a lot of senior high students out. On Monday and Tuesday, there were approximately 80 students. But as the week grew longer, there were approximately 144 students out on Thursday. The teachers stopped all the classes. Instead of doing work, they gave us study periods. But now our school is finally back together again. All this week, the teachers were giving out review sheets for midterm exams. Everyone is preparing for these exams, which will be held on Monday, January the 22nd, and will run through to February the 2nd. Because of exams, the women's and men's volleyball will be canceled for 2 weeks. Students, I wish you all the best of luck in your exams. That's all SJCH Senior High News. See you next week.
Thank you, Michelle and Jill. That's it for tonight's program. I hope you enjoyed it. On behalf of BBS volunteers, and the correspondents, I'm Gail Swift, wishing you a great week. Good night.